Well, tie me to a pig and roll me in the mud. Welcome back. This is Elliott with Rickety Ski Reviews. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Today, we're gonna be reacting to some curated content. We're gonna talk about the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. That's the ski I ski on. But before I give you some background, someone pointed out this kind of scratch that I have on my face. I have a young child with autism, and so I was dropping them off at school. I was kind of down by their face, and they like to touch my face while I talk because, you know, they're working on their speech. And I think like a car or a bus came by, and they just kind of squeezed their hands and, you know, scratched down my face. So I don't know, it happens, but you know, so now I kind of look like a Bond villain, but that's okay. Maybe that's oversharing, but just wanted to let you guys know. I didn't get in like a bar fight or anything. I just, you know, that stuff happens, and I'm sure it'll heal soon. But anyway, let's talk about the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. I've talked about the ski endlessly. I feel like I probably need to take a break after this video from talking about it because it's my ski of the year. In my opinion, if I were to go out and say what the greatest ski out this year was, I'd say the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. Just because I spent a lot of time on the groomers, I care about carving, but I also want the freedom to be able to go into the powder and go into the trees. Atomic Maverick 88 Ti is like very underrated, very responsive. It just rules. But you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse, and you can see like I've got probably half a dozen videos talking about the ski. I love it. It really loads in the tip well. It's very responsive. It's got a ton of diversity, and it gives you all of the energy you put into it back. The only like short side it has really would be that like if you're not a super confident skier and you get into some kind of heavy snow, it'll pull back on the ski. So, you know, if you're gonna ski on this, really stand on it confidently, but that's such a minor thing. And for me, like I'm really strong on standing on the ski, and I'm from the East Coast and from racing, so I kind of, all I know is kind of having at least a little bit of pressure on the ski. So I don't feel that. I only feel that if I'm like kind of getting sloppy with my skiing or relaxing my boot, then I'll feel a little bit. And I can see why people might not like that, but if you're like really standing on the ski, you're just gonna get such like a light, responsive ski. It gives you just all the energy you put into it back, and it allows you to have like a really fine-tuned carve turn. Today, we're going back to our arch nemesis at Curated. Now Curated, I give them a hard time, and they deserve it mostly. You know, these are guys that call themselves experts, and then, you know, people will kind of tip them out after they make a ski recommendation. Usually Curated kind of has the more expensive skis that I've seen. I know that they do price matching, but that doesn't kind of excuse that they are usually at the top end price-wise, because if people don't know, they'll just kind of grab whatever. And yeah, these people pass themselves as experts, and typically in the videos, they end up being intermediate skiers at best. Some of them even a little bit worse. Doing these videos isn't great for my blood pressure because I just get so riled up. I mean, to be honest, I've been kind of avoiding this video actually because it's my specific ski. I'm so familiar with it. It's my daily driver, and I know Curated doesn't always know what they're talking about. Maybe this will be different. They have like, it's so weird. It's like a total dice roll. Either they'll have somebody who's like pretty experienced and kind of knowledgeable, but they can't say anything negative. So they just kind of dance around it. Or you have these guys who just have no idea what they're talking about. They look like it's their first time looking at skis. Or they're intermediate, so like it's almost worse than being a beginner because they have like this false confidence about things that they are totally wrong about. So they'll really lean into saying things that are totally off the mark. I don't know. Reluctantly, I'm gonna watch this video. I've been avoiding it, and honestly, it's overdue. So let's see what Curated thinks of my ski, the 2023 Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. And this will work for the 2024 too, because 2024 is the same as 2023. It's just a top sheet change, so. And here we go. Okay, I don't want to be mean. I'm not gonna be mean. This is very delicate skiing. I don't know what age this is, but this is kind of how my dad skis. It's just very floaty, very non-aggressive, and that's fine. Like, definitely people ski like that. I don't know, maybe I need to watch more, but this looks like very, very delicate skiing. And that's fine, like, you know, this ski style, people ski like this, that's fine. You can still get a good feeling, and if you have good fundamentals, you're still gonna get the full arc of the turn. But it's hard to think that maybe this person is gonna be an expert, quote unquote, because I don't know that they're going to be able to fully load the ski and get the full range of flex out of it. That being said, I know people who kind of do gentle floating skiing like this, and they are experts. Like, they use so little energy. It's almost like if you've ever watched like a young person who's a beginner and an older person play tennis, and the older person is just like really using every movement, and they don't have to run back and forth because they have really good placement and control. It's kind of similar with skiing. When you're kind of masterful like this, you're able to kind of get a good arc, but you don't have to overexert yourself. My only skepticism is, are you like loading the ski to the full extent to see where it maxes out? Maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. As much as I don't like doing that for Curated, I'm not like seeing bad fundamentals. I'm just not seeing the ski fully flex. So you know what? I'm not going to jump to conclusions. Let's keep going. Okay, and you can also like tell this is definitely somebody who comes from the age of straight skis. Just because straight skis, you couldn't just do it with boot pressure. You had to like really like use a lot of angulation and body movement to get the turn initiated. And I definitely see remnants of that. But I don't know. Okay. They haven't said anything, so you know what? This can be really insightful. It's like ski coaches. I've had ski coaches that hardly skied on shape skis, right? Because when they raced, it was back from the days of straight skis. But that doesn't mean they couldn't give you good advice. Like, some of them would be really good at being like, here are the tactics, and here's how you want to approach the course. And you want to be really aggressive when it's about to get flat so you can carry your speed, but you can be a little bit less aggressive when you have a chance to lose it. Things like that, where like, people still have good insight, even if they haven't been on shape skis for a ton of time. So let's be optimistic. But this definitely looks like someone who spent some time on straight skis. I don't know. I've seen enough that I get a feel for that pretty quickly.
Hi, this is Rob G. I'm a ski expert at Curated.com. I've helped over 1,000 people find the right gear for them. I'm here at Powder Mountain, Utah today, where I've been skiing on the Atomic Maverick 88 Ti. I'm not sponsored by Atomic, and I'm not being
Okay, they did not do you any favors on that cat track, taking those little turns. I know what he was doing. He was trying to feel the ski out. That's like, I don't know. That wasn't a good edit. Whoever filmed that and put it in there, I don't know. Why? He's just trying to feel it out, man. The cat track is just like, let me get comfortable. Let me see what these skis are about. At least, again, if I'm being generous, which apparently I'm being more generous than Curated's editor.
Compensated by Atomic or any other ski company for the interviews that I do. So you can rest assured that the opinion I'm about to give you is my honest and unbiased reflection of the time that I spent on the skis.
Okay, I hate when they say that, obviously. You know what else too, in thinking about it? You are also incentivized. Curated is incentivized to sell product, but the skier or the expert, whatever you want to call them, they're also incentivized to close the deal. If they close the deal, it's more likely they're going to get a tip and they can move on. Nobody's going to want to spend a ton of time helping you find exactly the right ski, even though they should. Or you should spend that time and look at different things. But I hate that. We're not affiliated with Atomic, but they send us truckloads of skis. We have to move inventory, and we make tips on top of closing deals. It's like, dude, I've worked in sales. I know the game. Dude, it's fine. Just don't lie about it. Don't hide under this. Well, Atomic didn't give me any money directly, so I'm unbiased. Dude, I'm not even unbiased, and I'm out here in my kid's playground, but I'm biased. I've got a scar on my right shin from a pair of bad Dina stars. I've got, it's like I'm biased, but acknowledge that and just move on. Don't pretend like you don't have it, because everybody has it. Okay. God, we're not on pace. We're not pacing very well on this. We're only 39 seconds in.
Atomic calls the Maverick 88 Ti a narrow, directional all-mountain ski.
When did 88 get narrow? God, I know, supposedly Atomic said that, but when did 88 become narrow, huh? Zach skis on a pair of 77 head eye rallies, and he likes those. 88 is not that narrow. It's still pretty wide. It's nice and diverse. You can get across the mountain easily. But can we stop pretending 88 is narrow? It's not, okay? Skis have just gotten really wide. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Okay.
88 millimeters underfoot. It's mostly for firm snow and ice. It's an all-mountain ski. It does.
Thomas, my old nemesis. This guy, I don't know. He doesn't know his chin from his elbow. I swear to God, anytime there's going to be a bad review, I hear that voice of Thomas. Maybe, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Let's see what Thomas has to say, but God, I shudder every time I see that he's going to be talking.
Does have a decent amount of rocker in the tip, not so much in the tail.
First run, I took this ski down.
Thomas, that's all you had to add? It has some rocker in the tip, but not a lot in the tail. How insightful. Thank you. Where would I be without you, Thomas? What? Is that really all you're going to add?
Down a trail that had about ½ an inch of fresh snow over a fairly hard surface that had refrozen from the night before.
Okay, can I just say that's actually pretty good skiing? It's hard to tell from the video, but like the snow actually looks kind of like crunchy underneath and soft on top. This actually looks like good skiing on the Maverick. And it's pretty good at showing like that the ski does fine in diverse conditions. Actually not bad skiing. I know it's a little like slow, but this guy's definitely on the older side and he's making good clean turns. I'm advocating for Curated now, but man, I gotta give credit where it's due. This looks fine. Is he shredding? No, but like in those conditions, I don't know, it doesn't look like something you'd wanna just steamroll down.
I was really impressed when I was trying to hold an edge in that surface, but it was also capable of smearing turns very well, which isn't always true of a ski this narrow.
Okay, that skiing was actually pretty good. Definitely not very aggressive and not a lot of like upper body, lower body separation. So, you know, if you want free advice, definitely load up your downhill ski more and trust that. You definitely have some of that kind of like stance left over from straight skis, but not as bad as I was expecting from Curated. This guy is definitely, I would say he's an expert. He just maybe is an expert in different ways. Like he definitely has a nice fine-tuned feeling for how to initiate the turn and get it up on edge. But I wouldn't say if like you're a hyper aggressive, almost like racer, that he's gonna be able to give you a ton of insight into that kind of skiing. But for this kind of skiing, which is fairly common, like you see a lot of this on the hill, that's good. He has like a good feeling for the snow. I gotta give him credit there.
Don't forget, if you want help finding the right ski for you, click the link in the description and get connected to me or one of my fellow experts at Curated. This is
why Curated and Peter Glenn like get almost no views anymore, because you guys have like, this is only a 3-minute video. And it's ad. It's like you sprinkle your own inside ads inside of the video. It's exhausting. I saw one for Peter Glenn where like half the box was just taken up with the Peter Glenn logo. Like not even, it was like an add-on on top of the YouTube video. Guys, it's exhausting, okay? Not his fault, it's just a script he has to say, but come on.
Is designed for someone who likes to spend a fair amount of their time carving on groomers. I found there was a nice amount of rebound and energy out of the turn for an 88mm waisted.
Okay, this isn't bad skiing. It's not bad skiing at all, actually. It just, there's like a couple things you could do to kind of finish off your turns. You're definitely more in the first half of the turn and you're kind of like letting go of your energy at the end and just starting to set up with the next turn. But not bad at all. Just like kind of drive your downhill shoulder forward to complete the turn and just like get a little bit more, I don't know, just forget everything else I'm saying, just get more pressure on the downhill ski. That's what you really need because you're kind of doing like double turning. Again, it's like remnants of straight skiing, but it's here for sure.
Ski, the shovels are a little bit on the softer side, which makes the ski a little bit more forgiving, but might not be the best if you really like top end speed. The ski's got a nice...
You're gonna tell us about top end speed? Really? Okay, I was being generous, but come on. Yeah, I mean, he's right in his first assessment where he's saying that the tips are a little bit softer. They are. They're very like tip-based turn initiation, but what that's meant for is that when you leverage the ski, the tip is kind of the first thing that changes shape, so it initiates with the tip, and then the rest can kind of hook and be stable. But they do fine on top speeds. I don't know why you said that. I mean, I'm being generous here with your skiing, but saying that they don't do well on top speeds is totally untrue. I take these on tuck runs and Super G runs, which I wouldn't advise. It's not like very safe, but they work fine. They work great. It's more that any kind of flex you're feeling is because you're not loading the downhill ski fully, and so it's not like maintaining its tension. But yeah, dude, come on, you're not speeding down the hill. I wouldn't even like bring that up. I would avoid that completely if I were you. You have a lot of insight to provide, and I know this is kind of like the Curated formula, but for this guy, that's not where he's gonna give you the insight. He's gonna tell you about like the really like nuanced feather turns, because that's what he knows, but this guy, come on. I don't wanna be mean, but he's clearly not going top speed here.
19.5 meter turn radius. That's a fairly big turn radius for a front side ski. So it's really ideal for people who like to make medium turns, but for a ski with that turn radius, I found that it was pretty maneuverable for shorter turns as well. This is a fairly damp ski on really firm.
I mean, it ought to be. It's 88 underfoot. You should be able to push closer to slalom turns. If you were really loading it, it can snap around a lot quicker than that. And look, you're on fresh corduroy. I get it. I get what's going on here, but come on, man. I mean, I would hope. They have a pretty short turn radius. They're fairly narrow at 88, but they still have a little bit of width for the flotation. Come on, these skis are pretty reactive if you really load them. It's just frustrating because he's not fully loading the ski, so he's not feeling the full snap. It's fine, but it's a little like seeing somebody drive a sports car at 30 miles per hour. It's like, I know what these skis are capable of if you push them a little bit farther.
Firm, uneven terrain, you might get a little bit of tip chatter, but I was really happy with how the ski absorbed vibrations skiing over refrozen, ungroomed terrain. So for a directional ski, this is fairly maneuverable. I think if you want to make super surfy turns through the trees, there are other skis that are better.
Okay, the second thing he said is true. There's definitely surfier skis. I mean, they're 88. I don't know what you want, but then you do have like Salomon QST 92. Fisher Rangers are a little bit surfier. There's plenty of other skis that are surfier. The first thing he said, though, was something I've addressed, I feel like, a dozen times. People will say, oh, these are really chattery in adverse conditions, and they can be, especially if you don't keep that downhill ski loaded. If you're like a really confident skier that has a racing background and you can keep that downhill ski loaded, it's this game of chicken you play. If you release the pressure, yeah, it'll get shaky. But if you stand on it, it'll carve the whole way through. And obviously it's not gonna do it for you like a K2 Mindbender or Vocal Mantra. Those do it for you. But this ski, you gotta be confident and you gotta stay on the pressure. If you back off of it, yeah, it'll give you some chatter, but the trade-off is like a very fine-tuned, delicate turn in a ski. And I'd rather have that, but that's just me.
But if you like finding your hole and driving the skis through them, this is a great ski to do that on.
It's gonna be something that's looking for someone that's gonna wanna like bomb the groomers, bomb the firm snow, bigger turns. So this is definitely not a beginner ski. It's relatively stiff. It's also not a park ski. It's not a buttery flexy ski. It's not gonna be very playful. This is for making like very stable turns at like higher speeds, mostly on firm snow and ice, mostly groomers, but it will do really well off-piste as long as the snow is not deep.
This is a ski that someone...
Lord, give me strength, Thomas. This is for somebody who wants to bomb down the hill, but it's not gonna do well in powder, and this is an advanced ski. First off, his skiing looked terrible. It just looks atrocious. He's got his hands up here. He has no upper body, lower body separation. You could take a lesson from this older gentleman because he actually has some really good fundamentals. You're just standing there like that and then complaining that the ski doesn't flex. Yeah, that's because you need leverage in your boot to load it. It's not just gonna do it for you. That was some of the worst skiing I've ever seen and the worst take. Oh, it's for somebody who just wants to bomb down the hill. Nobody should be bombing down the hill. You wanna turn the ski. That's the whole point of having a shaped ski is it turns. You load it, it changes shape, and you carve. It's not just bombing down it. Why do they keep saying that? This is for someone who wants to bomb down it. What? Do you know what bomb down the hill means? It means when you just like set them straight and go straight down and you're going fast as you can. That is not what the ski's for. It's for carving. It's for somebody who has experience, who has a stable platform, who can carve, who can really carve, Thomas. And it's not gonna do on the powder. Did you take it on the powder? It does fine in the powder. It actually does great. And with the Horizon Tech, it floats better than any other ski in that similar width. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Did you actually ski it or did you take it on like one run and because it was too stiff for you, you didn't like it? God, I've tried to be nicer about this, but that is the biggest load of baloney I have ever seen from a ski reviewer. That is, it's arrogant to say just because I'm not flexing it, it's a stiff ski, it's for really advanced skiers. So dismissive to not take it other places and really feel its full range. This ski at 88, first off, isn't meant to be a big floating powder ski, but it does a really good job. Horizon Tech makes it feel a lot better in the powder than it should for its width. Secondly, it's not for bombing, it's for a fine-tuned carving experience when you're on the groomers. It feels so good. It covers two things so well. It's amazing, but you didn't even really give it a chance because you don't know how to load your boot. This guy needs lessons before I see him again. I swear, this is getting so frustrating. Anyway, the older gentleman here, he has had some really good insight. He's like, if you kind of find it in your pocket, it feels really good. I've got no big issues with him. Thomas, anytime you open your mouth, I get a migraine. It's seriously that bad. Okay, let's keep going. That was bad.
Who drives their skis is going to appreciate. If you're a strong skier who skis mostly in the east but takes a couple of trips out west each year, this would be a great ski to consider. Every ski is different.
Okay, I'm gonna say that I kind of agree with that take. This is a good East Coast ski probably. Like, you know, I like it on the groomers, it feels good. I talked to some people from the east when I was out demoing and testing the Atomic Maverick 95 Ti and the 100 Ti up at Mount Hood. They were from New York, so they were from the East Coast, and they were saying that people in the East don't love this ski. At least they didn't. They said it's kind of like a monster truck. It just is a little bit beefier than what they need. And I do get that, because when you get that boilerplate snow where it's really, really firm, I could see wanting more of like a cheater ski, like whatever that Red Star series is called. So, you know, and that's just one person. That doesn't represent the entire East Coast. If I was on the East, this is what I would bring with me. Absolutely. But I think that those wider skis are more of a West Coast thing. I think that people on the East are pretty okay with having things under 90, even to the under 80s. But again, at least if you're going for something like the Maverick. I know people do have wider skis and you do get sun powder, so there's all types of different skiers on the East Coast. But I'm just saying that I don't know if this is like an East Coast specific ski. I ski it on the West and I love it. I love skiing the ski on the West because you have it in the groomers, but then it has enough flotation that you can enjoy the powder. Just my take, but I would be careful. A lot of these curated people aren't from the West, and they'll just kind of dismiss any narrow ski as like, oh, this is an East Coast ski. It's like, no. Like, if you're gonna say that, you need to either be from the East, have experience in the East, or take them in the East and actually say that. They get very, very fast and loose with, oh, this is an East Coast ski.
And every rider is different. No one ski is perfect for every skier, but here at Curated, our goal is to help you find the right ski for you to have a great time on the hill. If you want help doing that, click the link below to get connected to me or one of my fellow experts so that we can get you set up for an...
Okay, see how he's kind of just like steering the ski? It's kind of like swaying. It's not really like, they don't stay parallel. He's not kind of steering with the downhill ski. I know it's just the cat track, but a lot of times that's an indicator of ski fundamentals, because when people go fast, they use that momentum to kind of hide their bad habits. And actually, like, the cat track flat area is a really good place to work on and identify where your shortcomings are as a skier.
Amazing, fun day wherever it is that you ski. If you like this video and you want to see more video content from me and my fellow Curated experts, click the link below and subscribe.
Okay, credit where it's due. At least this guy, he does like a better job with his like ad reads. It sounds more natural. Everyone else sounds like they're just reading off of a cue card. He's like, hey, there's different skiers, different skis, yada yada. I don't know. I guess I've heard it like 100 times watching all these curated videos. He at least sounds natural. But yeah, on the whole, what a bunch of baloney. I mean, the older guy, what was his name? I shouldn't keep calling him the older guy. Rob did a really good job of like talking about the small intricacies of the ski. I feel like maybe some of the editing washed out what he was talking about, because he missed some major points with the ski. And you know, he was like, oh, this ski doesn't feel good when you're going straight. And then Thomas did the opposite. And it was like, dude, you are not like going that fast. Let's just talk about in the arena we're at, rather than like trying to talk about some hypothetical based on what you felt off trail. Thomas weirdly had the opposite problem, where he felt like this is only for experts and this is for bombing straight down the hill. No! And did you guys talk to each other at all? It's okay to ride the chair together and talk about this stuff. Overall, Curated, this was one of the worst, and I think it's the hardest because I'm so familiar with the ski. You guys were totally out to lunch on this. Rob had some good insight about the soft tips and turn initiation. Rob, I think you could definitely improve, but given everything with your background and how long you were playing on straight skis leading up to this, I would say you get a pass. You had some good insight. You missed some really big points and you were kind of out in the weeds on other things. Thomas, I heard nothing out of your mouth that made me think that you understand skiing. I don't know. I'm not gonna beat up on you anymore. The skiing looked terrible and you were just totally out to lunch on your assessment of these skis. Rob, hey, I would ride a chairlift with you. I'd talk with you about skis. Would I think that you're getting the full load of the ski and have a lot of insight? Maybe not, but that's okay. You seem like you were being honest. Of course you don't talk about the major things that I would talk about, but that's okay. I don't think you were getting the ski to that capacity anyway. But all in all, Rob did a good job. I think that he kind of saved this review. Thomas, you almost tanked it in under 30 seconds. So you average out to like a below average review. This is pretty bad. All right, I'm gonna have to take another hiatus on Curated. That was enough for me. I mean, as always, these guys have no idea what they're talking about, and it's just some tech bros trying to use algorithms to suggest skis. The things that they suggest are so wild. I've heard stories of people just in the comment sections of my videos talking about Curated recommending, 120 atomic bent skis for people on the East Coast. Just these wild, wild things that, I mean, I don't know if they're true or not, but if they are, that's insane. I don't have a great opinion of Curated, and these videos never help. I do appreciate you watching this. I do appreciate you laughing along the way with me, or hopefully you're laughing. And as always, just thank you for watching. If you wouldn't mind liking and subscribing, that does help my channel. But more than anything, like I said before, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.